Hey everybody, Ben here from Cinder Studios, and today I'm going to pass a technique on to you guys that was taught to me by the late and great James Guentner. Stick around. So back in 2014, I had the great privilege to interview my friend James, aka Jim Guentner. He was an incredible artist, and this past Thanksgiving, just a few days ago, he passed away from this world and was called home to heaven. Really struck us all pretty hard, at least in the local art community. And I know a lot of us, both friends and family, are still kind of reeling from this. Back when I did that interview, he described a technique to me that I've always been wanting to try. The original plan was for him to come here to Cinderblock Studios to demo that technique for you, but he had gotten sick, and then he just never really got better. So hopefully, based on the original interview and the instruction that I got from him there, I will be able to recreate this technique and again pass it on to you, so his technique can really live on and can teach and inspire you guys going forward with your painting. So to start things off, I actually want to revisit that section of that interview. Let him speak for himself, and then before we try and recreate it ourselves, let's just see what he has to say.
You know, it's a scary clown. And then I would put my own backgrounds in for carnivals or anything behind that. So I did that for a real long time. And then, after about 3 years, I says, they look like acrylic paintings. So I says, let's try this asphaltum again. But that's for oil paintings. So I would put this acrylic painting down on the floor, like I did one at the carnival with these clowns at the carnival, and I would squeeze out little dabs of asphaltum oil paint on the canvas. Then I would just take some paint thinner and just pour it right in the middle on the canvas. I would take a big rag and I would wipe this over the whole painting. Just over the whole painting. And then I would take a fan brush and even it out. And it dries in about 15-20 minutes. Then you put it up on there, all of a sudden it doesn't look like an acrylic painting anymore. It takes on this glow like an old-time oil painting. Beautiful. It's hard to explain.
Okay, so let's go ahead and recap that. We have a paint color in oil dabbed down to an acrylic painting, paint thinner, and a big rag that you just kind of buff the whole piece with. I've actually sort of, when he first told me about this, have implemented this in a couple of mixed media projects by just doing a linseed oil buff overs and stuff. But this supposedly is going to dry within about 15 or 20 minutes, which is pretty rare for any kind of oil paint. But hey, let's find out. Before we do that, let's talk about this color for a second. Asphaltum. I picked this up a couple of years ago, pretty much right after this interview, and I still have it because I haven't really used it. I was waiting for the demo, and I didn't get the demo. So here we go. Asphaltum. It is actually a mixed pigment or hue paint made of transparent Mars Red and Bone Black. PR101 and PBK9 are the pigments on that. And there's not a whole lot of paint companies that make asphaltum. I've got this stuff from Gamblin. I think the Rembrandt company has their line of oils. They have one of them. I think there's maybe one or two other paint manufacturers that have this color. It's a very specific mixed pigment color, so it's not something you're going to find super readily unless you kind of really seek it out. You probably could use a different sort of deep reddish brown color. Something like a Mars Red or like a burnt sienna would probably work just as well. Okay, so just like Jim said, I have a painting down on the floor. Now this painting I did back in February of 2015, and I was never super happy with this piece, so I feel like it's a good one to test this on. That was actually his suggestion to me, is like, if you're going to try this, do it on a piece you're not afraid to lose. So I'm definitely not afraid to lose this piece. It's not bad, but it's not great, at least given the time period. And when I worked on it compared to my other work at that period of time, this is just really subpar by comparison. So I have no problem testing that on this piece. I actually think there's a time-lapse painting for this on the channel somewhere. So we're going to start just with the blobs of paint. Now I've had this for a while, so it's starting to leak out around the cap, but not the end of the world here. So I'm just going to start dabbing some paint down. like that. Now, I don't actually have a regular paint thinner, but I do have odorless mineral spirits. Hopefully this works just as well. Not really sure, but Jim, if you're watching, keep an eye out on me on this one. I really hope this works. Also, because I'm not insane, I got rubber gloves for this, because I do not want odorless mineral spirits on my hands. They say they're odorless, which really it's low odor. It's not really odorless, but I don't have to open a window, so that's close enough. And I don't have a huge rag. None of my rags are real big, but this is just clipping from an old pair of pants that I've got. Hopefully this will work just as well. I do want to apologize. I've got a little bit of wrinkling. This canvas, you can tell, is not stretched anymore. It was rolled up. So all these shiny spots here. This is just the light reflecting off of sort of my high gloss finish. I usually do a gloss spray clear coat when I'm done with a piece. So this is just a little bit different from there. Okay, so again, hopefully Jim Spirit's with us working on this one. Pour on the mineral spirits a little. Why not? Not the end of the world, right? And then big rag. And just, oh, hello. Just pulling that around. Wish this would stay put, but whatever. So we have a nice rich brown there. You can see, especially as soon as I go over top of these, there it is. Just how bright that is. Takes away a lot of my whites. One part of that video, that interview, a bit later, talks about going back in with whites and another detail brush to really kind of define those whites, but we're not focusing on that today, just looking up for that buff. Yeah, that's very wet. So, I can tell already that made that really, really, really nice. Look at that. So, second part of that, come in with a fan brush. I've got a smaller fan here I use for various projects, so I'm going to come in and push that around a little bit. Maybe pull a little bit more off that rock. Just kind of even that out a little bit from the sky. Bring some of the texture back into the grass. About like that. That already looks really awesome too. It gave it just a beautiful warm glow that just was not there before. It's really a spectacular technique. Super glad that I was able to share it with you guys today. I'm going to go ahead and give this a chance to dry. Again, I don't know if it'll take 15 or 20 minutes. It's pretty wet, but I'll let you know the exact time on this as soon as it's dry. Okay, so I've given this piece a very, very generous 30 minutes instead of the 15 to 20, and honestly, we are still looking at maybe a little bit of moisture in there. It's a lot drier than I thought it would be, but you know, that said, it's like it definitely worked a lot more than I thought it would. I was pretty skeptical actually going in, despite hearing about it over and over again. I was like, it doesn't feel like it would dry in 15 to 20 minutes. I would say 30 to 40. 30 to maybe 45 even, much more realistic. Of course, your results may vary depending on temperature and relative humidity. I'm going to venture to guess that's probably part of the issue. I think it's probably a little more humid in here than it would be in Jim's apartment in the middle of summer. So, again, This is a great technique, and as much as it really excites me to share it with you, it's also really a bittersweet moment right now, because having Jim not here to demo it for you is really unfortunate. But I hope that this demo inspires you to try some new techniques in finishing some of your own acrylic paintings, as well as perhaps tweaking this technique with colors other than asphaltum, maybe using a cool color like a blue or a green over top of another cool color piece, or over top of a warm color piece, and really mixing and matching the colors, and trying this technique with between oil paints and acrylic paints, and just expanding it out a little bit further. I know probably 6 months down the road from now I will have tried this out at least another 4 or 5 times, and hopefully we'll have some sort of an update to, from this video to that with you guys. But in the meantime, it's just this is the technique he showed me, it's the one he passed on, and now I'm passing it on to you guys as well. So in his memory, thank you guys for watching. This has been from Snipit Studios, and I will see you guys next time.